Hallo und willkommen. Ich bin Meister Lehns and you're watching Get Germanized, things that are forbidden in Germany.
I am bored. What should I do?
Ich weiß.
Recently I've talked about, well, if Germany has freedom in comparison to other countries, because some people, said, Germany doesn't really have any freedoms. And so I thought, let's look into what is actually forbidden in Germany. Freedom restrictions, so to speak. So we're gonna go through a list that I found on the internet and then, decide for ourselves if those points are valid, like freedom restrictions or not. Let's go. So first up, this article says that Glühbirnen, so light bulbs, are forbidden here in Germany. And I see where they get that from. I'm not 100% sure on the legal side of things. Like at the moment, it might be illegal actually at the moment, like the traditional light bulb, because it's very inefficient and is, that's one thing we Germans cannot accept, inefficient things. And yeah, we basically had this thing where you had to swap your light bulbs with a more efficient one up to a certain date. And I think many Germans, including my household, we have LED light bulbs by now. I don't think I have a single traditional light bulb anymore. So that fact is actually correct. That is pretty much forbidden in Germany, and I think for good reason. I think it helps the nature and energy saving stuff. So yeah, it's a good thing. Next up might be a surprise to some of my Chinese viewers here, because even if many people say that China doesn't really do it, they do. I mean, I've actually recently watched more cultural exchange channels on China, because I thought to myself, I want to learn more about that country, and they just repeated that over and over, that in China dog meat is a thing, and in Germany dog meat, Hundefleisch, is illegal. Same with cat meat, Katzenfleisch. It sounds terrible to say that even, but yeah, killing those animals without reason at all is illegal, and also selling dog meat. Not sure about the consumption of it. I mean, you would have to break the law to get your hands on it, pretty sure. So I'm pretty sure that's illegal as well. Maybe not, but who cares really? Who would want to eat dog and cat anyway? I mean, no offense. I just don't think it's animals we should eat. I mean, you could argue, where do you draw the line? Then you can't eat any animals at all. And you're probably right. Where do we draw the line as human beings? Who says a pig that is much more intelligent than a dog should be eaten, and a dog shouldn't be eaten just because we have history with them and domesticated them into, from the wolves into our companions. If we had done that with pigs, maybe we would eat dogs, but things are at the moment that, it's illegal to eat dog meat or sell dog meat in Germany. Comparative commercials, or commercials that compare one product from one company with a very similar product from another company, and say the name of the other company as well. That is illegal here. For example, there was this incident once, I believe, where I believe it was McDonald's or Burger King. They made a commercial about the other company, and that's just not something that is a valid thing to do here. You can get in trouble for that. I'm not actually sure if that was in Germany, or if they just talked about that and said, that's illegal here in Germany, as so many things are apparently. But yeah, that is definitely something you cannot do, compare one product with another and say the names. Something else you cannot do is make up statements of make up facts that are just not true about your product. For example, if you eat my bananas, then you will get superhuman strength, or something like that, which is obviously bullshit. No product will give you superhuman strength. So you cannot do that, because some people, I know, who would believe this, right? But there are some people out there that will believe pretty much anything, and you could endanger them. Same as commercials that show people jumping off a cliff like real people, I guess, after drinking a certain product. I mean, actually, what about Red Bull? I wonder. Verleiht Flügel, they say. Red Bull gives you wings. That's like a commercial here in Germany, but they use cartoons for that. And maybe that makes the difference. I'm not 100% sure, actually, because technically it's saying something about the product that's not true, like it gives you wings. Maybe you guys know more about that and can let me know. That would be truly interesting. Next up, something quite obvious, but I felt like I had to include it anyway, even though I'm kind of sick about talking about these kind of things. Doing the Hitler salute is obviously illegal. Just saying that if you come from a country where maybe no one told you that, maybe you think it's funny to do it. I've seen people think it's hilarious to do the Hitler salute. It's just not to us Germans, just deal with that. I mean, it's not necessarily even about it being illegal, which it is, but you're just gonna piss off people around you. People think or will think you look like a wanker, basically, like an idiot. And why would you want that? Just, because you think you can do whatever you want, fine, but then, deal with the consequences. Same as people, which brings me to a similar point, I suppose, think it's okay to do these whole like vocal Nazi salutes or just anything Nazi related in public. I don't see the appeal unless you're, I guess, a neo-Nazi or something like that, or very right-wing extremist. I just don't understand it. Why would anyone even want to do that? But I'm just telling you now, if you want to do it, then deal with the consequences. That's all. Next up is something very interesting. Planning an attack war in Germany is apparently illegal. So a war that makes Germany the main aggressor and like the first aggressor, I suppose, as well, in comparison to a defensive war where someone else attacks your country and then you're just defending yourself. That would be legal, I suppose. But Germany starting a war, that is illegal. I'm pretty sure that must have been a law implemented after World War II to kind of like stomp out any chance of Germany rising up to power like that again, or like to aggression like that again. Makes sense, I suppose. But yeah, if you collaborate to do that, to start a war that involves the Bundesrepublik Deutschland, then you can get at least 10 years in prison, or even like for life. You can be in prison for life. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Next up, opening shops on Christmas is, according to this article, illegal. And yeah, pretty much that's true. The Christians here in Germany, or the church, I suppose, is still pretty powerful, even if it might not be as powerful anymore as it once used to be back in the olden medieval days. So yeah, that's correct. The shops will be closed on Christmas here in Germany, same with Easter. So don't expect to buy any very last minute presents while you're staying in Deutschland. Smoking is illegal. Well, I wish it would be completely banned, because who needs that nasty gnarly smoke? Gnarly? That is not a word, is it? Gnarly? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not a smoker. I don't like it. It stinks like shit. And I think it should be banned. It's just super bad for your health. I guess you could just ban alcohol right out as well. And that wouldn't work, I don't think, in Germany or many countries. No prohibition here, I don't think. But yeah, smoking is illegal in many places in Germany. For example, certain pubs or clubs, actually. You cannot smoke in clubs anymore. But that also, I think all of these things depend on which state in Germany you live in. They all have different state laws. It's similar to in the US, I suppose. But back when I grew up, you could still smoke in clubs, and it was just horrendous. You would, first of all, not be able to breathe very well while like dancing and stuff like that. Not that I dance a lot, but it's just, yeah, something that annoyed me. And also, I mean, you will stink horribly after you get out of there, and you could just smell it everywhere in your room afterwards, and it's just not a nice situation. So I'm glad that they kind of banned smoking here. I think at least it's not too bad. All right, next up, dancing is illegal. Some people will love this. Dancing is illegal in Germany on certain holidays as well, only. Yeah, I need to be careful, like I need to explain this right, or people will go around, oh, Germans are not allowed to dance, they're still a fascist country, what's going on? No, it's just on certain religious holidays that Germans are not allowed to dance. Tanzverbot. And only like basically, I mean, there's not a dancing police going around enforcing that no one's dancing. It's just that public clubs, for example, or clubs or public events that include dancing should not be open on that day. So if, for example, there's a party the day before a day where dancing is not allowed, like Karfreitag, I think it is, a Whit Sunday. No, that's not that. Karfreitag, for example, is a day where that's the case, like parties that start the day before end at midnight, because then the day begins where dancing is not allowed. I think it's silly that they still enforce that, maybe only in some states, I'm not 100% sure, but that is a thing here in Germany, yeah. Tanzverbot, dancing bans, I guess, on certain days of the year. And last but not least, something very obvious, drugs, like hard drugs or even weed, are not allowed in Germany, are illegal. I thought about including this or not including this. It's super obvious, I believe. But I mean, since weed was legalized in many states of the US, I probably should, and that's why I'm doing that. But yeah, hard drugs like heroin, cocaine, meth, MDMA, whatever, you name it, are illegal here in Germany. And like I said, even weed, some people might be outraged when it comes to weed being illegal. Personally, I don't care. I don't take drugs. I've never felt the urge to do it. I mean, you could argue with weed. I've seen those videos where there were cases where it really helped patients that suffered from Parkinson's and stuff like that, or spasms in general. And yeah, okay, for those people probably should be legal. But other than that, I feel like for just consumption out of boredom or whatever, I don't care, or to relieve whatever stress, anxiety you have. I mean, yeah, for, like, again, it's a different thing if it helps you with a severe illness or condition. I just don't think just for recreational use it should be legal. I don't care about that, really. It can be legal, cannot be legal. Do whatever you want with that. But as for hard drugs, I don't think they should ever be legal. Some people might argue, of course, but you know, if everything was legal, then maybe the urge to do those illegal things wouldn't be there anymore, and so less people would do drugs. I'm not convinced, to be honest, when it comes to that. Might be true in some instances, but for most people, I don't think it would be. But yeah, that's a different can of worms altogether. I'm not gonna go into that any more than we already have. So what do you think? Should any of this stuff that we talked about today be legal, or should it be kept forbidden here in Deutschland? Let me know, what do you think in the comments below. And apart from that, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to get Germanized. Goodbye and auf Wiedersehen.